Hey, it's Tanya, your credit coach. This video is for those of you who are stressed out about money. Maybe your credit cards are also maxed out. Maybe your credit score won't budge no matter how hard you try. And maybe you're just tired of living paycheck to paycheck without breathing room. And let me just say this, I get it because I was there too. And one of the biggest game changers for me, well, it was using a personal loan, some call it a consolidation loan, not to spend more, but to pay down my credit cards and give my credit score a huge boost, the reset it needed. I found a loan offer that allowed me to pay down my credit cards to below 30% utilization, catch up on a couple of past due bills, and stop juggling the multiple payments with different due dates. And it worked, at least for me. My score went up over 100 points in 30 days, but it wasn't magic. It was strategy. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did, what I applied to, how I did it, the pros and cons, and the smart way to shop for a loan without hurting your credit. I've also included the link on my channel and in the description of this video and pinned a comment. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about why utilization is destroying your credit score. If you're not familiar with the term credit utilization, let me break it down real quick. So, credit utilization is how much of your available credit you're using. Say you have a credit card with a $5,000 limit and you owe $4,000. Your credit utilization is 80%, and that is way too high. It's crushing your score. So, how do you figure out your credit utilization? Take out a calculator, type in the limit, your credit card limit, in this example, 5,000, and then divide it by whatever you owe. In this example, $4,000. And that's going to equal zero point 0.8 or 80%. Ideally, you want to get that number under 30%. And optimally, if you really want to see results, get it down to 10% or less. That one move alone, lowering your credit score balances, can account for 30% of your FICO score. It's one of the most powerful things you can do to boost your credit fast. But let's be real, most of us don't have an extra few $1,000s just lying around to pay the cards off. So here's what I did. I applied for a personal loan and I used that money to pay down my credit cards. I didn't have to close my credit cards. I didn't have to cut them up. I just had to get the balances down so that my utilization dropped. And when my credit utilization dropped within weeks, I saw my credit score go up. Like I said, 100 points. It was a little over 100 points in about 30 days. Now, lenders saw that I wasn't using the majority of my credit because it was paid down. And that made me look way less risky. Here's how I shop for the best loan without hurting my credit. Instead of applying directly with random lenders, which would have triggered multiple hard inquiries and denials, I used what some call a lender database. It's a tool, a database that connects you to a number of lenders. Like the one I have in the screen here that I'm doing a shared screen with, it has about 125 lenders and you're connected all at once. Here's how it works. You answer a handful of basic questions online. You're going to be asked, do you have a job? How much do you make? What's your paycheck every couple of weeks? And then the system will connect you via a workflow of sorts with lenders. Now, there's no hard inquiry on your credit report. So this doesn't even show up on your credit report initially. From these 125 lenders, there's a good chance that you're going to get pre-approved for matching offers based on your profile. In my case, there were a handful of lenders that I was pre-approved for. And then you get to see the interest rates, the terms, and your approval chances before you select who to move forward with. Think of it like shopping for a car. You want to see multiple options, you want to compare rates, and you want to choose what's best for you, only without impact to your credit. Now, I received these offers via email and phone calls. And because I only wanted to communicate via email, I told the lenders to opt me out of phone calls, just stick to emails only. And guess what? They respected it. Now, I reviewed the terms carefully and I ultimately chose a same day approval line of credit. And I didn't even need to provide documents. They did link to my bank account to see if I had deposits, since I said that I had a job and that I was paid twice a month. And once I officially accepted the offer, that is when they completed the process. In this case, with this lender, they did do a hard credit pull, which I expected because they told me they would. The key thing is I wasn't blindly applying and I wasn't hurting my score every time I checked a new offer, and I got to choose from the 5 offers that were made available to me. And by the end of the day, I had access to almost $10,000 in a line of credit that I could use immediately to pay down my credit cards and just start my reset. So I want to show you this lender database. So here's the lender database that I used. And again, I've got this pinned in comments. It's in the description of this video, and I actually have it linked to my channel. So you'll select the amount that you're looking for. I selected the $5,000 to $20,000. You'll submit information. You're asked a series of questions, and you find out pretty quickly if you are pre-qualified with one of the many lenders that are behind this database. And like I said, the lenders will reach out to you mostly via email. Some may call. You're not going to get calls from 125 lenders. You're only going to get contacted by the ones that are pre-qualifying you. And by pre-qualifying you, there's a very good chance that they're going to lend to you. And then once you select the lender that best suits your needs, you complete the application process, and the funding can be pretty quickly. Now, I did go with a lender who said that they do same day funding because I really wanted to see if I could get same day funding. And I was approved, and the funds were made available to me pretty immediately. Not even the next business day. It was like by 5 o'clock that day. So with this lender database, Online Loan Direct, they provide a service that aims to quickly connect customers with a lending partner. And again, they have 125 partners, and that offers loans that may work for them. So they are connecting you with lenders. No hard inquiry. They allow you to use loans to cover emergency expenses, medical expenses, mechanical fees, and bills. They honestly don't ask you what you're using the money for. And in my case, I used it to pay down credit card debt. So, what I liked about it, like I said, I didn't have to talk to anyone over the phone. I just did it all via the comfort of my home, online. It was quick, it was discreet, and it was secure. They do have some important disclosures that you want to read through. They are not a lender, they are like a lender database. They connect you with lenders. They talk about implications of, if you don't make payments on what you borrow. I mean, when you are taking out a loan, you are promising to pay it back. So there's responsibilities there, and there's implications if you don't pay, or if it's a late payment, or if you do partial payments. So definitely want to read through this information because you want to make sure that you're informed, that you understand the terms and conditions, and all right, that's going to help you to be able to make the best informed decision for you. Now, I want to talk to you about the pros of a personal loan or a consolidation loan. There are some benefits to using a personal loan in this way. And here's what worked in my favor. I had one fixed payment per month. I went from juggling 5 to 6 credit cards to one monthly payment, and that helped me stay on top of my bills. I had a lower interest rate than what was on most of my credit cards. Credit card APRs can hit 25% or more. Personal loans can have a lower fixed rate. It depends on your credit profile. Fast credit score improvement. Lower balances on your credit cards equal lower utilization, and that equals healthier, better credit scores, fast results in boosting your credit scores. That's how my score jumped within a month to over 100 points. No revolving debt. Credit cards are revolving, which means you can charge them up again. A loan is installment based with a set end date, no temptation to keep on spending. And it strengthened my credit mix. The FICO credit score, which is the score that most lenders use to extend credit to you, they like to see both revolving credit like credit cards and installment loans. So this added balance to my credit profile. Now let's talk about some of the cons, because you want to know these things before you apply. There are some risks and downsides because I like to keep it real. You're taking on new debt. So even though it's for a good reason, you still have to pay it back. A personal loan is a legal agreement. Don't treat it like free money. You cannot rack up those credit cards again. if you pay down or off your credit cards and then you use them again and rack them back up, now you've got the loan and new credit card debt. And that's a trap. Please don't do it. The rates and terms vary. So if your credit isn't strong, you might get some lending options with higher APRs or interest rates and shorter repayment periods. So you have to compare offers. A personal loan is not a magic wand. And if you're not disciplined with your money, it could hurt more than help. You're essentially swapping out your credit card debt for a new loan. That can be smart if you don't rack the cards back up again. See, that's how people get stuck. And depending on your credit profile, your interest rate might not be that great. You might get a high APR or a shorter repayment window. So this move only works if you are committed to better habits. Let's talk about 5 things to look for before choosing a loan. APR, which is the annual percentage rate. That's the true cost of borrowing. You could have a low monthly payment and a sky high APR. Then there's the repayment terms. Are you paying it back in 6 months, 3 years, or 5 years? Shorter terms often mean higher payments, although you could be saving on interest. Fees. Now, some lenders charge origination fees or prepayment penalties or monthly service charges. You need to read through and understand what you're agreeing to. Communication preferences. If you only want emails, tell them. If you want your invoices, your statements to come electronically versus via mail, let them know. Set these boundaries. Impact on credit. Now, the initial application doesn't do a hard pull so you don't get that, ding to your credit, but the final approval may require a hard credit check. It depends on the lender, because I also saw some no credit check lenders, but the APR rates were sky high. So if the final approval does require a hard check, just know that it's normal, but you've been pre-qualified. So there's a very good chance, and I'm not guaranteeing this, but there's a good chance that you are going to get approved. So who are personal loans or consolidation loans good for? And who is it not good for? This option may be helpful if, like I said, your credit cards are maxed out, you're behind on your bills, and you need to catch up. You want to lower your credit utilization and improve your score. You're ready to stop the cycle and get on a better path. But it's not for those of you who plan to keep using your credit cards the same way, because then you'll have a loan payment and credit card payments. You're not sure you can manage the monthly loan payments, or you're hoping this is a long-term solution, because this is not a long-term solution. It is a short-term reset. Now, I'm not saying this is a solution for everyone, and I don't believe in using loans to live beyond your means, but I do believe in smart strategies, and I believe this is one of them. I didn't have to go lender hopping. I didn't get dinged with multiple credit pulls, and I didn't feel pressured because I was in control the whole time and I didn't have to accept any offers. So if you're trying to get your credit card balances down and it feels like you're stuck, maybe this is the reset you need. Lower utilization, higher credit score, a cleaner credit profile that can open new doors. But it only works if you're ready to manage your money and stick to the plan. So if you're ready to explore your options, say you're curious, again, I put the link in the description, pinned in comments, and on my channel. And I'm going to say this, individual results will vary. There's no guarantee of approval, and the terms depend on your credit profile if they're running a credit check. But this might just be the tool that helps you start your comeback, because it's free to check. There's no initial impact to your credit, and it connects you and puts you in front of 125 plus lenders who are offering personal and consolidation loans. And you won't get contacted by all of these lenders, only the ones that pre-qualify you. And in case you're curious, my credit was decent at the time, and I ended up having a handful of offers. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe for more tips on rebuilding credit, budgeting, and fighting back against collections. The goal is to become debt-free the smart way. I'll see you in the next video.